Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Johnny Nelson here in Cardiff. How are we doing today, Johnny?
I'm good, thank you. It was actually nice to see Peter Fury walk through. Probably one of my favourite coaches out of this industry. Good straight talker, great trainer. Walked in with Huey. So nice guy.
We'll have a little chat about Huey in a second, but a big week coming for Lauren Price. Homecoming, first world title. And it's certainly not an easy test against Jessica McCaskill.
It's not an easy task at all. McCaskill's 10 years older than Lauren, and so what you're weighing up, you're going to age against experience, and McCaskill is a confident champ to say you step into my world. You know, and even before when they initially announced this fight, McCaskill was smart in regards to how she was passively tapping him back saying you're good but not your time yet. I can remember seeing that with AJ and Klitschko, and how he was talking to him like, I'm the master, you're the student coming through. This is where Lauren Price has got to be so strong. She's got to be so focused, and this will be obviously a toughest fight to date as a professional. To pull this off so early in her professional career, to me, it'll be a mad one. It's a tough ask. It's a tough fight. If she doesn't pull it off, it's not a surprise. It's not the end of the world. But if she does pull it off, you've got to think, what a good win. What a good win.
How much risk is attached with taking on McCaskill at this stage in her career? We've seen fighters go into their first World Championship tilts against a lot, you would say, easier tests than McCaskill. She's very experienced, two-weight World Champion. She's achieved everything there is to achieve nearly in the professional game.
Yeah, but Lauren wants success. You know, she's been in combat sport most of her life. So in this stage of her life as a boxer, she wants to challenge herself constantly. She has the talent, she doesn't have the experience. So she's going to be in deep water now. Even if she wins, she's in deep water. She'll be in deep waters against talented fighters that have experience. And those fighters that have got the experience will know more than her, but they might not have the youth, they might not have the strength, they might not have the lion that she's got. So I think for her it's a good learning fight at this stage. And you can imagine her winning and being a champion and still learning the job and still being hungry as a champion. They're the kind of champions that stay champions for quite a while.
We see Mr. Huey Fury over there. He had his comeback a couple of weeks ago on a GBM show, but now on the Sky Sports platform here in Cardiff, 8-rounder, looking to get back to that world title level. Do you think he can do it?
I do. I think he's been patient. He's not been knocked. His confidence hasn't been knocked all on an official scale. You know, with him always being on the outside looking in. Now, you know, the experience he's had in the gym, learning and learning about himself behind closed doors, makes all the difference for him. And I think Peter Fury is an amazing coach where he just doesn't work on you physically, he works on you mentally as well. Then I think for Huey, I think he's the right kind of guy.
Other boxer business in Chris Billam-Smith and Richard Rakor announced just a couple of weeks ago for Crystal Palace. For Chris, he's had his last few fights now. I think it's 3 fights down in Bournemouth. He's had a lot of momentum there, and his form is in a very good position. But now, choosing or being put in a position where he's got to go to Crystal Palace, is that something he's going to have to get over? Is that an obstacle at all?
Well, I think as a champion, most fighters think, you know, I want to be world champion. To be world champion, it comes with a responsibility, and the responsibility is you've got to defend your title anywhere and everywhere. You've got to be able to travel abroad, travel in the backyard of your opponent, and come out the winner. That's a true champion. Chris Billam-Smith is going into Richard Rakor's backyard. He's going to be surrounded by most of Richard's opponents. So in doing that, this is part of the responsibility of being the champion. And if it breaks you, it's going to have a break your mate you. And it's going to be there's going to be a lot of questions he's got to ask himself about it. His confidence would have blown up since winning the title, but then he's in against the only guy that's beaten. So again, I think it's going to be intriguing, interesting, and learning fight for both fighters as well.
Big week in boxing. We'll first of all talk about Naoya Inoue. The amount he's achieved in the sport, world champion at 5 weights. How far can he go up these weights?
You know what? It's talent. We can all dream and think, oh my God, this guy can do this, that, and the other. A fight seems unbeatable until he gets beaten. You saw Inoue get hit, shows he can take a shot, get back up, get stuck in, and get the job done. Take a man out. What a fighter! I gather. I don't know where I read somewhere. he's talking about trying to box in the UK in his next fight. I read it somewhere, and it'd be a great introduction to the UK casuals to see this guy in action. And this guy's a superstar where he is, and very grounded. So again, I think good performance, and it's good PR for him, who he is, and a good introduction for the general public.
If he was to come over to the UK, we don't know quite what weight that would be. He could have his pick, really, couldn't he? But who would you like to see him face?
He could have his pick, and that's what I'm saying. It's a case of we can all dream and say fight A, B, or C. You know, he's not going to have a soft touch, but he wants to show his skills. He wants to be in a position where he thinks, right, this is who I am. Check me out. It can't be a nobody, because if he fights a nobody, you know, it's going to fall flat in his face. The public aren't going to believe, you know, aren't going to be interested. He's got to capture the public's imagination. It's got to be a name that the public think, I know who you are. I get that. This is intriguing. And it's quite clear he's the kind of fight that doesn't shy away from anybody.
Another man that got a win in the victory column over the weekend, Canelo Alvarez, doing it in convincing fashion, you would say, over Jaime Munguia. There were doubts over him in the lead up to the fight, but he proved he's still right up there.
So when Canelo boxed Floyd Mayweather, I thought Mayweather's cashing out because Canelo is a dangerous young man coming through. But Canelo was beaten by experience. Now the tables are turned. Canelo's the experienced fighter, where most thought, oh yeah, this is going to be a tough one for him. I didn't. I thought he's too smart, too sharp. He's 98% of the fighter he was, so he beats most fighters coming through. He's that top 2% he's got to be wary of. And so what he did was he showed his skill, showed his patience, showed his experience, showed the experience that he's got through to this stage to get the wisdom to be the fighter he is. So how he did a job with something you can't buy, borrow, pretend to have, and that's experience. And that's why he did an excellent job in shutting him out.
You spoke to my colleague Danny Flexen a couple of weeks ago and revealed your dream regarding Mr. Tyson Fury and Mr. Oleksandr Usyk. I'd like to dip into the Johnny Nelson memory bank in terms of Anthony Joshua. His next opponent, there seems to be 4 options on the table, whether that's Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, Filip Hrgovic or Daniel Dubois. Who would you like to see him face?
I think intriguing for the public. For a while it's been Deontay Wilder. I don't know if Deontay Wilder will win, and if he does, that's a fight. That's the one that put bums on seats. That's a fight that I think now Eddie and the team will say, you know, it's the right time to take him now, and it will get people be interested in it. I think the most dangerous out of the lot is Hrgovic, and so I think he'll be the last choice. I think the first 2 choices are Wilder and Dubois, but it's a case of who wins, so you've got to wait and see.
Is there concern about where Deontay Wilder is in his career at the moment?
Yeah, because in his last fight he looked surprisingly old, and that one thing that's pulled him through is that punchability. But once he got to the stage where you know, that had gone, you showed the lacking technique at that point, at that level, that he lacked in and got away with that punchability. So yeah, there is concern. So this next fight should tell us a bit more about it, because in there with a tough, smart southpaw that believes in himself.
News continues to roll on following Ryan Garcia's positive test last week. It seems about a week or so on now. Do you hold concerns for the sport when there's things like that come out? So many casuals will have tuned in to watch that fight, and now seeing the latest news.
There's cheats and there's cheats. You know what I mean? You've got Conor Ben, you've got White, you've got Garcia, and so it's this, it's in that, it's in this. If Garcia's been on the ayahuasca, what they say he has, you know, unfortunately, you know, it's if it's on the bad substance list, you're done. And the same with Conor. Conor said, look, I didn't cheat. So there needs to be clarity, there needs to be understanding, there needs to be a hard line to say this is a yes, this is a no. And unfortunately, it doesn't do our sport many favours because it confuses the public. But I think Garcia, how he's dealing with it, is probably the best way for him to deal with it head on. So this is what I took, this is what I deal with it. You know, so we'll see. We'll see how the future holds out.
Final thing from me, Gervonta Tank Davis, supposedly fighting over in Las Vegas against Frank Martin, but says He doesn't want it there.
It doesn't matter where he wants it. As I said, the responsibility of being a fighter champion or a top fighter, you've got to fight anywhere. You've got to do it anywhere and come back a winner. It doesn't matter where it's, because when the bell goes, it's just you and your opponent. It doesn't matter what the fans are saying, what the judges are saying. If you're the best, outside influences mean nothing. And that's what you've got to concentrate on. So is it him saying that, or is it people around him saying that? Is it saying that for PR? But when the bell goes, it's about whoever is the best, and that's it.
Too much fighter power there, do you feel, or do you think there's too much power given to the fighter there? Or
No. I like the fighter having the power, because if it's down to the promoter, A won't fight B and B won't fight C, because the promoter wants to keep their golden goose. And the fighters have got pride. Fighters they've got egos. They're not going to say I'm going to fight him. So I want the fighters to have the power, but you need a businessman to advise him behind, say, yo, this is a good move, that's a good move.
Cheers for your time, Johnny. Really appreciate it.